Hello, my name is Arcelia Marquez.
So, what is it like to be part of this population, to be a caregiver of a person with Alzheimer's disease?
Well, it, it's kind of like a two-edged sword. When you first uh, have to care for somebody with Alzheimer's and you never heard about it or you didn't know anything that went with it, um, and especially if you're family, um, it's heartbreaking. And not only that, um, your your way of thinking has to change. And on the other side, um, it humbles you if you allow it to work for the better. You're in a better place. The caregiver. As for me, this is for me, I've had to change my way of thought, that I can't change what's going on with my mom, and so I have the ability to change me. And so it's been a tough 5 years. But I think if you stop fighting against what it is, and your compassion and your love and, all these other things that stop you from accepting what it is, and just give it all you have and love them, because they're not always going to be here. They don't understand. She's in a prison, is the way I look at it. Her mind is in a prison, at least on short-term memory. And so that must be hard. I wouldn't even want to, go and think about what that is for her, because she can no longer express herself sometimes. So she shuts down. And so you have to kind of pick up on those issues with her. So
All right. Do you find it that is it hard to find services or any resources available to assist you or her?
I think there's a lot of people willing, and there's a lot of organizations. I started off with Kaiser classes, very informative. I have the the Alzheimer's from the LA County. I think there are, but you have to look for them, and you have to be willing to use them. I did not go out and find. I know they have counseling, they have people that you could talk to, but I've had services offered through Kaiser that have been a very big help for me with grandma. So I know that they're out there.
Okay. What do you find? Where are there challenges or when as a caregiver, what are the challenges that you face regularly?
Well, the challenges that I think I find is, when I need a break, when I need time out, because this can get pretty heavy. There's that's my challenge. And I don't go out of the family, basically, because obviously we don't know the people that are out there as ways of caregivers or health caregivers or whatever. And my mom is still at a place where she knows people. So she'll bark about, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. And so I think that's been a big challenge, honestly. I mean, on that's on one part. The other part, obviously, that she doesn't trust me. Um, it's me. It's She's lived with me. She's living with me, and so I think she takes all that and takes it out on me. And so that was a really tough one. I'd say the first 2 years, I didn't understand it all, and all the doctors and anybody that I would go through Kaiser, or even speaking to other people, they would tell me, "Don't take it so personal." Well, you're thrown into this mix. It's your mother. of course I was going to take it personal, and I didn't know how to detach myself from those feelings. I didn't, the emotional part. And so now, 5 years down the line, I think I've gotten to a point where I can let it roll off my sleeve somewhat, um, and stop and say, you know what, this is not my mom. It's very true. She would have never spewed out any of those harsh words toward me years earlier, you know. So I think that's what I found as a challenge. You can't change that. You have to adapt to it, because otherwise you're knocking your head against the wall, and you know, there is no really a real solution. You have to kind of make your own solution, or be strong enough to cope with it.
Okay. Do you find that are there any rewards dealing with this?
Yeah, I do. I have found the rewards that there's a reasoning why God put me in this place. Whether I was fighting it at the beginning, and you know, your trial and errors, and I don't know if it's just our culture. Um, I know my faith is strong, and so I knew that God chose me to be with my mom for a reason. I may never find out what that reasoning really was, but it's enriching to know that, you know, after you think about it, he's never going to leave me. He's going to give me the strength when I need it. And so I know that down the line, I can say, you know what? I was able to learn something from this, to humble myself, to do for people, to know that maybe one day down the line, I'm going to need that. So it's opened up my heart to accept the love that I can't get, and the little bit that I do get, it's immense. It's just, you have to look at it that way. At least I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to be the way I am. So yes, I walk away with riches that I've been able to do for my mom.
Okay. Can you describe like a typical day in caring for her?
A typical day, I get up in the morning. I go and greet her. Um, Many times she's not in a good mood, and she won't take food. And if I try too much, it's going to backfire on me. So I just kind of have to walk away from it. But she tends to sometimes sleep in. I go in there, I check on her, I want to give her her food, whatever, and she's sleeping a lot, a lot. So I constantly check on her. I'll go and take her her coffee. It's kind of like I have to. I don't know why I'm speaking of we, because I think it's your dad that helps me out. But um, I have to go in there and be a little forceful and say, okay, mom, I know you don't want to eat right now, but I'm going to leave it there. And at least I know that I did my part. Lunchtime comes and she may be still asleep. I have to watch how I try to direct her, because if I go in there and tell her, mom, you haven't taken a bath in 6 days, that's not going to go well. So I have to kind of say, hey, mom, you know, I heard Art, your son's going to be coming tomorrow. And so just be ready. And you know what? That's a good prompt for her as of now. So she'll get in the bath, or she'll tell me where to go. And it's going to be no. So that's so far how it goes during the lunch hour. You know, after I try to feed her, she might take it, might not. And then in the evening time, I'll feed her, and she tends to eat more of a dinner, and give her her medication. She has the tendonitis, a ringing in her head, and so I have to deal with that throughout the day. If she's dealing with that, she's literally looking like a little child, crying and, you know, holding her head. And so what I do is I give her either a Tylenol, or if that's during the day. If it's during the evening time, I'll give her metropazine, which I was told is for depression, eating, and sleeping. And so that obviously calms her, and it puts her she relaxes and she sleeps. So I don't hear that obviously for the rest of the night. So right now the nights are still where I'm able to sleep. I get up and check on her constantly, as dad helps me and goes and checks on her. But yeah, that's a typical day. She doesn't want to go out. If she has her way, she won't go out. I have to kind of prompt her, let's go have lunch, or so she's set in her ways. She loves being in her room, and that's just the way it is on a typical day.
I mean, would you say? I mean, that's a typical day, but not every day is the same. Um,
No, no, and because sometimes I go to greet her and she's already upset because in her mind I took her money, I took her jewelry, I took her undergarments, and she's set. It's like, wow, it just came out sometimes all of a sudden from one moment to the next, or I'll wake up and that's how she greets me. She's constantly looking in her drawers wherever she can, and I think she's hiding things thinking that I'm going to take them. And so again, she's kind of like childlike. um you took it, why did you take it? Am I going to be harmful? Did the doctors say that I was going to hurt anybody? And I've had to learn also on that to walk away and leave her there with the words in her mouth, because I can't constantly, I knew that, engage her in arguing, because it's not going to be beneficial for her. What's it going to gain?
right.
So yeah, it's totally, they're different days. But that was just a typical day. Now I just told you another day, that she won't talk to me. She won't accept any food when she's mad at me. She'll come back. She wants to continue that argument, but like I said, I have to just ignore her, and it seems to kind of like, okay, she'll say her piece and then she leaves. So,
Okay. How would you say this has affected your personal life, your well-being?
um, tired. Um, Sometimes I'm not at peace. I second guess myself. Am I really doing the best that I can for her? But at times I feel that I don't have anything more to give. I do the best that I possibly can. I ask God all the time to let me do the best with a giving heart and joy. Sometimes it doesn't go that way. Many times it doesn't go that way. This has been the hardest journey, other than with my brother Danny, but Alzheimer's is just, it's sad. It's how do you're always trying to think, can I make it better? Can I make it? And sadly, you can't make it better. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And it seems like a heartless disease, um, because I feel that she's like, her mind is in prison. And, it's only going to get worse. But I'm thankful that right now it didn't really take off all at once. It's been 5 years into this journey, and I could still have talks with her when, of the past, but of the present, it's pretty hard. So I think that's what it's taking a toll on. Obviously health wise, also. You go go go. You don't have time, which I do look for my own time, and dad gives it to me, and siblings don't always see what you're going through. So because they don't always constantly hear me calling them for this and for that, I guess they assume that, oh, well, then she's taking care of it. Well, you can only try to get their help for so long. And then, you know what? It's disheartening. They say that, yeah, call me and blah, blah, and it doesn't happen. So what's the point of hounding them when it's going to take more effort and more time out of you, and you're exhausted by the time you call them all? Just do it yourself. That's just the way I look at it. I'll get it done quicker, and I know what's going on. So
Okay. Um, Do you feel confident in your role as a caregiver?
Yes, I do. I do in the sense that when something comes up, I'll call her doctor. I take her in for her, visit. I ask questions. I I know my memories kind of because I'm over bombarded, but I keep her medical binder together, and I have I know I have contacts if I need anything. This one lady from Kaiser and Diamond Bar calls me every 3 months. Her name's Jill, and she's been a great help. Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need to talk? Do you need bereavement? When my brother Danny died for her, so there's I think there's a lot at hand for me if I needed more help. So I do. Obviously, I don't neglect her. Um, I hope that I'm doing the best, that I possibly can.
Do you feel that I mean, regarding the competency, did you jump into that right away, or did you feel that there was a big period of it adapting to it? Do you felt like it was too much at the beginning, or
I didn't have much of a choice in the sense of did I jump into it right away because she was living with me already. And I noticed things probably a year prior to her being diagnosed. I knew there was something, but not really thinking. I thought it was old age, especially with the missing stuff that she would tell me. And then kind of got to a little bit more in her mind of her purse was missing. And no, she knew who had did it, and it was impossible at that time, So it's kind of like I didn't have much of a choice, but again, I fell on my faith. I find strength in it as best as I can, and I knew it was going to be a long haul journey. I just didn't know, is it going to go quick? The Alzheimer's just going to take off, or is it going to go, in chapters? I just didn't know that. And so I basically feel that I was thrown into it. You've got no choice. You got to deal with what's at hand, or again, you're fighting against yourself. If you're, was I gonna? I obviously financially, I didn't have means of hiring somebody 24/7. She would have fought me on that, and I wouldn't have been comfortable anyway. As long as I think I'm healthy, try to take care of myself and do the best that I can, then I think that it helps both of us. It's less work for me if I can maintain everything, as we go along. So,
okay?
yeah.
And then, do you have any guilt? Um, it's common a lot of times caregivers or family members tend to put guilt on themselves.
That's funny because I was just talking to your dad about that last night. Um, it for me, I think it's not a norm compared to other people that are having to deal with the Alzheimer with a parent or an aunt, uncle, or a husband, whatever. Mine has been a difficult because of my relationship with my mom. So I tend to find guilt in, if our relationship would have been great prior to her Alzheimer's, would I have been able to have avoided the way she is with me now? That's the only guilt I feel. But I've heard that people that are very mean spirited normally can change when they have Alzheimer's to the sweetest person. People that are the sweetest person prior to Alzheimer's can turn mean. And that's the way it's been with my mom, with me, not with anybody else. It's just been with me. So I find a little bit of guilt in that. But again, I know it's not my fault that this all came on. So, you know, it is what it is. And I try to make the best of it because I can't, if you fight it, you're going to be in a miserable place, and I've been there, done that, and it didn't get me anywhere. So.
Okay. Do you feel that you have any knowledge deficit about the disease progress, or that you had prior to the when it first started?
Knowledge about
Yeah.
it?
Like, were you pretty knowledgeable of what Alzheimer was and how it's going to affect her?
Not at all. I didn't know anything about it. Um, I really didn't pay much attention because there was nobody else as elderly ever come into my life. Not a relative, not no friend. I heard of it, but did I pay any attention to it? No. Obviously, it's something that, I mean, if think ahead of time and you got the luxury of time, you can look into things that just kind of catch your eye, catch your ear. But no, I didn't. And there was a lot to to opened up my eyes and your mind, and obviously your heart too, with the classes. So it was quite a few classes, I think 2 hours long. So though those were beneficial, I would recommend them to anybody. Go and get help. Don't be too proud to ask for help, because there's a lot of counseling. There's hotlines. There's even on your Facebook, there's groups there that, if you don't want to, for whatever reason, who you reach out to. I reached out, but I wasn't involved in discussions. I just kind of sat back and said, okay, that's what's coming. That might come. Um, okay, this is what I'm going through. But I took it kind of as a good learning experience because of everything but I didn't get myself involved in it. I don't know why. I just felt that I wasn't at a place at that time. I was still too emotional. So I just wanted to sit back and read and try to be wise enough to take what I was going to need, or what the challenge is going to be. And you can kind of foresee down the road that, okay, I think my mom's going to go through that. And, so whether it was bed sores, whether it's that sundowners, whether, you kind of have to ask, pay attention, so there's still a lot of stuff that I don't know. And I may never need it, or I may not be informed of it, so I try though, but yeah.
Okay. And do you find it difficult accepting new undesirable behaviors? As it progresses, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes in their behaviors, their day to day, their emotions, their responses.
Well, you know what? Um, Sometimes when things happen with her, it takes a little while, and then the light bulb goes on me. And then I say, okay, this is part of that. Why didn't you think about it before, But again, it's through our experiences that we learn. So no, not really, because I'm ready for the unknown with her. Um, do I catch it right away? Like I said, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Um, I just try to be open-minded to, hey, there's going to be a lot more things that are going to come, and it's associated with all that, so there's a broad spectrum of a lot of things with Alzheimer's. I know there is. There's things that I have not even heard of. So no, I'm I kind of get myself ready every day, like, okay, what's coming today? And if nothing new, well, then thank you. And I was able to do this for this day. So yeah.
And do you feel there's any community issues at hand, like just in broad general for outreach, for assistance, anything that's um, not quite addressed, or do you feel like that there's enough information or help out there for everyone who are?
No, there's not. I don't think it's really out there. I mean, if you search for it, or like it came to me, and I did, go to the classes, and because of that, they started, there's more avenues. But community wise, I don't think there's a lot. Just at random, I've run into people, and then they start talking about, they're elderly. I might be waiting somewhere and you hear this and, oh, well, there's this. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. Just like that found, that the chain that I got her. Well, it's a wristband. If they get lost, people don't know about that. Found LA found or something. I can't remember the name of it, right? But yeah, they'll come out, they'll assess the person with Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever. And if they're the type to want to take off, there's your help. They put a wristband, or you could put it as a ankle or whatever, and call 911 and they respond. They give you an ID number, so that I think was like, wow, I didn't know about that, but it was a starter program. And from what I had heard, it had good reviews. So that was one thing that I was able to share with a couple of other women that's going through that with their parents. But I think the community needs to open up. I know there's probably places that she can go as a daycare. But I think that I would like somebody to come out here to engage with her. Like I said, my situation with my mom is not where I can totally engage with her and try to talk, because she shuts down. So if somebody could come out here, do puzzles with her, try to engage her in just the minimum, I think that would, crafts, just different things, maybe come out here and work with me, talk to me, show me, I know that there's a phone, but it's not the same as person to person, so yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add or um, inform anyone that you find that's important or could help someone?
I think, well, it's going to hit it hits all economics. We know that. Doesn't matter, you're rich, you're poor, whatever. It doesn't discriminate. And when you hear grow a tough skin, or don't let it bother you so much, don't take it personal. Now I get it. But when people say that, it's like you don't want to hear it anymore. So people don't know how to react to this. All I know is that if you're going through it, look for avenues. Don't stop because they're out there. You just have to look for them. It's a really heartbreaking disease to see in a loved one. But you have to find your peace within you, and you have to find that strength within you, because it can easily break you. It can easily break you in many ways. You can want to run away from it. You feel inadequate. But you got to stop and think, if this was me, what would I want people to do for me? Because we don't know if we're going to be in that place. Do I want to be rough with her and talk down to her and scare her? Do I want to just ignore her? Because all those things, you don't know if you're ever going to be in that place one day. And, so you have to give them love. You have to give them what God gives you. And that's just my mantra. I do it to her as if I'm doing it to God, because I don't know. I have to be her voice. I have to be there for her. Take her to a restaurant and she can't tell you what she wants. And that took me a while to understand that, because it was like, okay, Mom, it's a menu, it's right there. But in their mind, they no longer can put those letters together as a word. And so the little simplest thing is heartbreaking because you don't think about it. And then you think, oh my gosh, that's what I think she was going through. So you have to bring out all your compassion, and your survival instincts to be there for somebody else, not just for yourself. So I just try to do the best, and I hope I did the best, and I'm doing the best. So
Thank you. I think that's it.
all right. God bless you.
God bless.
All right. Bye.